The Big Lie 2. The forces of attraction and repulsion are the most powerful mechanisms in the universe to drive or slow down any process. When human beings act against these universal forces, we cause deep damage to each other, sometimes irreparable. When we take advantage of them, we achieve true miracles. As mentioned above, these forces are highly dynamic and extreme. At one moment, we may be under intense attraction, and at another, to feel a marked repulsion. And therefore, we must become experts in recognizing what influence we are under at each moment and in each of our relationships. This implies that our behaviors must adapt according to the force that prevails at that moment. For example, after a period of intense sexual attraction with our partner, it is often preceded by a phase of repulsion, at first quite intense. In these cases, the wisest thing to do is usually to limit contact, insisting can saturate, even wear down the other person emotionally, generating losses of respect, admiration, and inevitably of love. The theories they put forward about the relations between the genders, those who proclaim that women come from Venus and men from Mars, they often propose behaviors that contradict these universal laws. Phrases such as "never go to bed angry" or "we must always look for ways to approach or communicate at all costs with our partner," they usually turn out to be quite counterproductive. In these cases, it is best to simply allow the forces of repulsion to run their course until they dissipate and attraction arises naturally. Contradicting these universal laws has great consequences. The survival of the human species and the transmission of knowledge depends to a large extent on respecting them. Men, at first, they were endowed with greater physical strength. Women, of a distinct and complementary intellect. Proclaim and seek to implement full gender equality. Ignoring these biological and psychological differences can backfire. The key is in complementarity, not on uniformity. Mistaken beliefs and the behaviors derived from them have contributed to the collapse of the institution of marriage in countries such as the United States. We must recognize that marriage is one of the fundamental pillars of a nation's economy and moral health. In fact, the increase in addictions and suicides is closely correlated with the loss of relevance of marriage. Another byproduct of this crisis is the millions of people who live on the streets, often due to the absence of a partner and, consequently, of a home. When we harness with our conscious mind the forces of attraction, we strengthen our relationships in surprising ways. However, if we use these forces solely for sexual purposes, we compromise the depth and stability of the relationship. When attraction is present, it is the ideal time to open authentic channels of communication with the couple and learn as much as possible about their inner work. Self-study is a powerful tool, not only to improve our relationship with ourselves, but also with others. If we complement our self-study with the inner study of our partner, the effectiveness of the couple skyrockets. Many people mistakenly believe that they are above others morally. Others, on the contrary, who must live like criminals to survive. The law of compensations reminds us that the universe gives each person certain qualities and defects and provides a time for them to reach their maximum potential and another when they become weaker. And this produces a whole range of opportunities for our development in the long term. Finding and building a strong relationship, taking advantage of opportunities and solving crises is one of the most important achievements we can achieve in life. Being in a relationship significantly increases the chances of physiological health, moral and economic. In addition, a family is built and the continuity of the species is contributed. On an individual level, life as a couple makes us experts in developing relationships with others, which are essential for our professional life and our personal growth. Ultimately, the fundamental purpose of this universe seems to be to avoid loneliness. Those who live alone by choice or certain circumstances, they are depriving themselves of some of the most wonderful fruits of existence. There is a powerful economic structure that directly benefits from the crises of couples. This industry of divorce and conflict in gender relations has thrived especially in the United States, where marriage has lost most of its strength. Curiously, in countries where this institution remains solid, this industry and its disastrous legislation has not been successful. A clear example is the case of Bill Gates' wife, who went from being a secretary to a billionaire in a few years with just one marriage. This is totally against the principles of the capitalist system. Capital accumulation is achieved after decades of work. arduous efforts and sacrifices that show that the person is already skilled enough to manage that capital. This strategy is as optimal as possible for humanity. A universal law states that what comes easy, easy it goes. A great distortion has occurred in recent years with the apparent creation of large fortunes in a short time. But the reality is that they appear to be in a short time. But it is not so, because if we study these cases, we will encounter transgenerational intellectual developments and high risks and hard work for many years. The remuneration of millions or billions of dollars for a few years of marriage is an insult and economic blow against our species. This industry, based on what is here called the big lie, has promoted laws that hide behind the shield that are protective for women. But in reality, they have contributed to denigrating them and reinforcing stereotypes such as calling them fortune hunters. If we watch the movie Irreconcilable Differences with our conscious mind, we will discover behind the comedy many truths such as the tragedy that we have degenerated certain professions and, consequently, gender relations. Dr. Werther de la Garza relates in the 70s, lived in Atlanta, where a culture based on attraction and personal care predominated. But in the 90s, when I returned for a while to Dallas, he found a completely different society, dominated by repulsion, carelessness, and apathy. As a result of the change in these laws, according to Dr. de la Garza, this was devastating. People stopped cultivating themselves intellectually, the vocabulary was impoverished, and the physical deterioration was evident. What was once a rarity, such as extreme obesity, it became commonplace. Why did this phenomenon not occur in other countries? Because they did not adopt the big lie and uphold the laws that punish divorce from an economic and social perspective. Paradoxically, although many American politicians publicly declare that they support the family as the basis of well-being, when they came to power, they promote policies that divide and pit genders against each other. Don't forget to send us your comments. Their feedback is invaluable to us. This is the way of telling us in which area we have to focus on your personal development. If secret mental techniques are already helping you, so it's sign up for the Secret Mental Techniques Club, where they will be able to carry out super chats with doctors in quantum physics. And this will allow them to take their personal development to the next level. Send us an email with your name, your city of origin, and your email to the following email: mentaltechniques@gmail.com.